Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Waj'al li wazira min ahli. Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri washriku fi amri. Kay nusabbihaka kaseera wa naskuraka kaseera. Innaka kunta bina basira. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. All right, welcome, dear friends. Inshallah, we will continue with discussing the miracle of the Quran and how we can benefit from it, inshallah. So, the author is sharing about some of the eloquence of the Quran and how everybody can get their share from the different verses based on their understanding, how much they've developed themselves. So, last time we went over the verse Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, which is from the Quran, section 33, verse 40. And we saw how different stages or different understandings of people kind of relate to this verse and how they benefit from it. And we kind of discussed a lot on the differences between them, the first groups, the second, third, and fourth, where the fourth was saying that the inherit, like bequeathing any properties to a male is not one of the things that is done. So the line of prophethood continues through women, basically, which is interesting. And all the descendants, like Imam Hassan and Hussein, basically are through the line of women. All right, so we will continue basically in terms of how the eloquence of the Quran is, in terms of how its fluency, we kind of categorize them pleasant fluency, superior correctness, mutual solidarity. So the verses connect between each other, right? The cooperation between the sentences and parts, how it builds to like the proportionate size, everything, just like the creation is perfect in its existence, everything is perfect if we understand that. Each verse, the way it's constructed, is construed, basically, is also perfect. It is according to what it's meant to convey, right? All right, so yeah, we went over the examples of the verse that we discussed and how different classes of people understand the verse differently, which is a miracle of the Quran giving a share to every being. Also, the Quran was revealed gradually over the course of 23 years, being intact with no change to it or any abrogation.
Editing, no editing.
No editing as well. Thank you.
No one can write anything, even the email, without editing.
Without the what?
Without editing, I don't write
Mhm.
the email. Even email message. When I write the message, I go over it and edit it again.
Ah, I
But
see what you mean.
23,
I see what you mean.
23,
Okay.
no, you are writing a constitution
Hmm.
throughout 23 years.
Right.
No change, no editing, no adjustment at all. But living conditions continuously change, dramatically change from Mecca to Medina. Can you imagine?
Right.
Everything continues to change, dramatically change, but the Quran verses never change.
Mm.
Impossible to explain it in terms of this world. Impossible.
So civilizations change, right? But the Quran's message never changes.
Now, the civilizations, living conditions of
Living
the
conditions.
Quran yeah, when the Quran was revealed, and the life of Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam, change, but the revealed verses, Quran verses, never change. Quran verses never change. Verses, I mean, yeah, verses of the Quran never change. What does it mean? Impossible for a person to say something 20 years ago when he was under severe uh, persecution, torture, and until the very end become a third power center of the world, never change. Abrogation also is not really true. Fiqh side of it is somehow relevant to believers, not the abrogation. No, practice of fiqh side.
Right, according to the conditions, the laws can change.
Yeah. So you have in this condition, this verse applies to you. In another condition, another verse applies to you. The subject may be the same, but your conditions change, so the application of the rules change. This is called abrogation. It's not abrogation. When you are a child, you eat something. When you grow up, you eat something. Baby drinks milk. Old man, when there is no teeth remaining, they drink soup. They cannot chew. But young people eat even raw cooked, not raw cooked, middle cooked food. Why? The teeth is strong. Do you say that the food abrogated? No. Still, babies are going to drink milk.
I see, yeah. In that sense, yeah. In the verses, no abrogation, but with the rules, yes, according to the conditions. Thank you. Okay, so we will continue now. Furthermore, although the circumstances which prompted the Qur'an's revelation were all different and various, its parts are so mutually supportive that it is as though it was revealed in response to only one of them. Does this referring to like the circumstances to the occasions of revelation, so which prompted the Qur'an's revelation according to different scenarios, certain verses were revealed, but they, as a whole, they're all mutually supportive, and then as if it is just only one of them, or the same basically message that is, or it's so coherent in a way that it doesn't seem like it is according to the circumstances. So it talks to everyone in a way.
Circumstances here is not a right translation. Occasions of revelation. Esbabun nuzul. It's not circumstances. In English, it is known as occasions of revelation. Now, it is miraculous, really. Whatever the aspect of the matter related to Quran, you can look, you see nothing but miracle. Nothing but miracle. For example, Historically, everyone is very much aware that a verse is not, for example, let's say, just revealed for nothing. No, there is an event happens, the question is asked, or something happens, and some psychological, financial, social, political events happen. And some people come ask questions to the prophet. And on the occasion of this event, there is a verse related. So it looks like local. Now, because something happened here, somebody came and asked a question, a verse was revealed as a response to this specific subject. And we have to be careful with this specific topic under discussion or under concern that time. Either question or something happened, something like that. Occasion is there. That's a specific point. And a verse is revealed, and this verse says, I am universal. Look at this. I am universal. All Quran is like this. On a specific subject, revelation comes down, and whatever comes is universal. I mean, how come it can happen? Do you see what I mean? Is it clear to you? It's an amazing subject.
Right, so it applies to the actual event at that moment, and then it becomes universal for the rest of us in a way, right?
Now, as if this specific event is the reason of revelation, but there is the big but. A verse comes, it says, I am universal and never change. Finish. You cannot edit me. In another position, let's put this word like this. No, no, no. You cannot touch at all. Finish. And it is universally valid until now. We are experiencing it. It can only be revealed by the one who knows all past and future. Absolute knowledge is necessary.
Got it. Yeah, that's why. Okay, I understand now. So that's why it says response to only one of them. Although that's specific, only one of them, but it's universal. And although the Quran came in response to different and repeated questions, it displays the utmost blending and unity as though it was the answer to a single question. Answer to a single question. And although the Quran came to explain the requirements of numerous diverse events, it displays such a perfect order that it is as though it explains a single event. So, single event, single question, single event. And although the Quran was revealed through divine.
Look,
Yeah.
excuse me, Asim.
Yes,
We
please.
can study it like this,
Hmm.
paragraph by paragraph.
Okay.
First sentence is one paragraph. And although the Quran came in response, another paragraph. Up, go up, go, yeah. And make it paragraph and come to the end of the sentence. And another paragraph. Now, and was revealed through divine. Oh. address those who were.
All right, I broke it up.
Now, now, uh, now read the contradictions now. Uh, Contradiction within each paragraph. No, different and repeated questions. But when you look at the Quran at the end, 23 years later, as if there was an answer, one question, and the whole book was revealed as an answer to this question. So consistent within itself, within itself. So consistent as if not different, completely different circumstances it was revealed, or occasions it was revealed. The second one, second paragraph today. Is it clear, the second paragraph for you?
So it's related to basically the occasions of revelation in a sense, right? So
Different, but the answer is as if
a single,
a single answer.
I see. So basically all those like universalities there as well, like all those different can be answered in a single, basically, right?
No, the first paragraph is universality of each ayah, each
Uh-huh.
verse. Second paragraph is, if you like, universality of the whole book at once, as if it was revealed as a book once, so that the consistent, now it was arranged as a consistent book, as if, but no, different questions. Another matter, uh, first paragraph and the second paragraph are different. I mean, miraculousness is the same. Miracle, miracle, miracle. But the aspect of miraculousness is different.
Right. So one is like all the verses, basically, the first one
Each verse
are
is
universal.
universal. In
Each
the,
verse is universal,
yeah, the
correct.
point was there. Although occasion of revelation is a specific occasion, specific circumstances, the verse is revealed, but this verse is universal, applicable to everyone at every time. That is the first paragraph, saying this is miraculous. A human being cannot do it because the human beings cannot know the future. The second one is different questions, different occasions. That is the same reason. But when you see the whole book is so consistent as if it was revealed on one occasion.
So here the whole book, basically, the Quran came in response,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
The first paragraph is verses, second paragraph is the book, the Quran altogether.
Got it.
Mhm.
And this one, and although the Quran came to explain, so the whole Quran came to explain the requirements of numerous diverse events, it displays such a perfect order that it is as though it explains a single event. So the whole Quran again comes to explain all the, as if it's just one event.
Now, the difference here, the second paragraph says answer to a single question. Third paragraph says a single event, as if numerous requirements of numerous diverse events. I mean, war conditions, peace conditions, torture conditions, and ch challenging the world conditions, different events had been experienced, but as if the Quran was revealed on a single event, as a response to a single event. One of them is question, the other one is event.
I see. Yeah. Okay. And although the Quran was revealed through divine condescension in styles appropriate to the understanding of the innumerable people it would address, whose circumstances were different and diverse. It displays such a fine, so the whole Quran displays such a fine correspondence and beautiful smoothness of style that it is as though the circumstances were one and the level of understanding the same. It flows as smoothly as water.
Mhm.
So here the human circumstances, I guess, as created beings is the same for everyone, or in terms of neediness to be given existence.
Rather than circumstances, rather than circumstances. Now, in order to make us to understand the difference between them, can you please number the paragraph one, today's paragraphs? Paragraph one, further down, one. This is one, just one. And the second, yeah, third. Now, we are number four, all right? Now, here, divine condescending in stellar purpose to the understanding of, here, understanding of the innumerable people. Now, for example, a very knowledgeable person asked the question or the conditions, or I mean, uh, circumstance as well, but understanding is the point here. And very uneducated, coarse people, let's say, also ask the question, or they happened in a very petty matter, or very important matter, or a very important occasion, or a petty occasion. For example, a Christian envoy came and had an argument with the prophet. And a Bedouin Arab came and had an argument with the prophet. For example, some Bedouins came and shouted from outside of the house, "Oh, Muhammad, come out. We have some question for you." For example, and there is a verse revealed upon this event. And Christian envoy came, and the Hudaybiyah treaty signed. That very completely different events and completely different capacity of understanding of the addressees. And verses revealed there, and all of them at the end, the beautiful smoothness of style is the same. So, although understanding level, nature of the occasions were different, completely different, but as a whole, when you read the Quran, this beautiful smoothness of style goes perfectly. You don't see that, here, Quran is speaking to ignorant people, not to me, for example. You don't see that, Quran is talking about a very important event. The language is so high. So when the Quran is speaking to uneducated people, language level or rhetoric level is so low. No, The style is smooth, the acting. Read the Quran, you will see it. By following the meaning, you can feel that there is no up and down in style of the Quran, depending on the capacity of the addressee. You cannot say that this verse is speaking to an ignorant man, but this verse is speaking to a very highly qualified, educated person. No, there is the smoothness is there, smoothness of style. So the last one here, though the circumstances were one and the level of understanding is the same, level of understanding, as though. But the questions or occasions happened, completely different level of understanding of the people. Occasions were.
So the circumstances you said are the occasions? You
Now, circumstances and level of understanding of the people
know?
are completely different, but the Quran's smoothness of style has not changed. When you read the Quran now as it is completed, you
Right.
see that the style is balagha, for example, eloquence, for example. The language quality, for example, is the highest. Although in one of them, speaking to an ignorant man, in another occasion, speaking about very important event, very highly educated people, the same. Quality-wise, the same. The same quality, balagha, you can, eloquence quality, you can find all of them. You don't say that this verse doesn't have the same quality of rhetoric quality. Or now he is speaking to an ignorant man, but he is using some simple grammar. No, the perfect grammar everywhere. It's amazing, amazing.
Right. So the smoothness of the flow of the verses,
Yeah, smoothness of the style doesn't change.
regardless of different occasions or different circumstances or level of understanding, it still flows smoothly according to their level, right?
Yeah,
So that's a very particular, unique quality, right? The balagha kind of flows through. All right, number five. Why isn't this coming? All right, and then six. Okay, let's do this. Six. So number five is, and although the Quran addresses numerous classes distant from one another, it possesses such an ease of exposition, such an eloquence of its word order, such a clarity in its manner of exposition, that it is as though it is addressing a single class. Oh, Even each class supposes that it alone is being addressed. So the examples we saw earlier, right, in the verses, and we saw how different classes of people kind of understood the same verse according to their own, how much they've developed and understood it. So second class, third class, fourth class. So here as well, although it's just one verse, it's the manner of expression, the eloquence in the word order, every class can benefit from it in a way. Although each classes are different according to their level. So it is as if it is addressing, as if, although it is as though it is addressing a single class, basically. Okay, and then number six, and although the Quran was revealed in order to guide and lead to various aims, it possesses such a perfect integrity, such a careful balance, such a fine order, that it is as though the aim was one. The aim was one. It is as though the aim was one. So reveal or to guide and lead various aims. So the whole Quran, as if whatever the purpose of the Quran to in terms of guidance, what it wants to the conscious human beings to understand is as if it's one, though the aim is one. Any comment on these last two? Five and six?
Especially the last one is a bit difficult to aim was one. Now, there are verses, severe language, threatening language, and uh, severe threatening language, and also encouraging war, for example, kill people. No, the purpose, the aim seems to be different in these languages. You have to be tough to people. And there are verses asking, forgive them, just keep away from them. If they want peace, just submit to their demand and be compassionate to them. As if it looks like aiming at something else. As compared to other severe language, the verses talk against the deniers and their aggressive attitudes with their severe language, right? But the author says aims seem to be different. One of them is, Muslims must be extremely powerful and aggressive on other people. The followers of the Quran seems to be. And on the other hand, some people may choose some verses without keeping the balance in between. Some verses saying that you have to be very lenient, very soft, understanding. Don't take any sharp attitude, as if it looks contradictory. Huh? Do you feel that when you remember the Quran as a whole? Do you see this point? No? Yes? Suhail said, yes, it does seem contradictory. Yeah? Suhail says this. All right. Asim says nothing. Muawiyah is quiet today. Muawiyah says, oh yeah, but I feel the same.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And you agree that I do agree as well, because some people say the Quranic language is ruthless. Some people say, they say the Quran, there are some verses, the kuffar, the deniers, must be really smashed down. But these verses are abrogated. Do you hear abrogation for by these people? These verses are abrogated, abrogated. They are not good anymore. This is missing the both sides are missing the point. The author says it is as though the aim was one. How do we know that? How do we know that the aim was one? No, do we know that? Now, uh, while speaking to a person, the circumstances which needs to be very severe and really teach people, if they deny, they will definitely live in a horrible life in this world and unbearable life in the hereafter. For what purpose? The aim is one, to educate people to find the right way. And the soft language side of the Quran is the same aim, to educate people to find the right way for them to adjust their life accordingly, so that they will be in a loving relationship with their creator, so they will really educate themselves. For example, a teacher gives very low grade to those students who don't study and get ready. The same teacher gives very high grade to those study really perfect. Now, can you say that this teacher is severe by looking at the low grade? Can you say that this teacher is really very generous by looking at the high grades? Or would you say that the aim of the teacher to educate the students, it means for perfection of the students? That's one aim. Although the attitude seems to be contradictory, that shows that although those people who need to be educated with soft language, encouraging language, loving language, and those people who need to be educated in a harsh language, but the aim, although these languages differ, but the aim is one: perfection of human beings in order to fulfill the purpose of their existence. I hope it is clear, inshallah.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Yeah, so this guidance either in the soft for some people and then harsh to other people. Yeah,
But the purpose is guidance,
correct. Yes,
both of them,
both
for
is
the betterment
basically
of humankind.
order to guide. Correct. All right. Any other comment or question? Wavia, go ahead.
So I had a question on this topic. What I can understand your point where there's different sections that have different appeals. For some people, a softer approach, and some people need a harder approach. That 100% makes sense. But my question is, some people they come to the Quran with like bad intentions. So if they want to say, "Oh, this is such a harsh book," they'll only search for the verses that show that. So how does the Quran like address this idea of like confirmation bias of people only looking for things that will make them even more certain that the Quran is not a guidance for them?
First of all, people's mistakes are people's mistakes, Muawiyah. We don't concern about it. So you select one verse and go the severe language and go and use it for those people who need soft language in the soft circumstances. But we have to understand that human beings need reminder for their ego and at the same time reminder for their ruh, spirit. So nefs, it means ego, needs severe language for one person. I have to have fear of my future. That is one side of me needs to be reminded in this way. Another side of me, I need some encouragement to do more, to do good even more. But one person is the same. We have this quality. I can read the Quran for myself and address it, the severe language, to my egoistic side and kind and soft language to my spiritual side, ruh side. That I can read it. But if somebody uses one kind of selecting one kind of languages and start speaking to people with this language and not keeping the balance of the Quran, spoiling the balance of the Quran is the mistake of the people. We have to see the Quran as if it is aiming one point and use it accordingly, speak to people's ego with civil language, spirit with soft language. That is human preferences. But what we are talking here, the miraculousness of the Quran, how we can see the miraculousness of the Quran throughout 23 years without being any editing or edit, without edit. 23 years, all different conditions, different kinds of people, different occasions, all of them are combined together. At the end, what we find a completely consistent within itself, a book aiming at one point for the human perfection, perfect education. Without being edited, we should never forget that. Now, when you read the book Quran from the beginning to the end, you will see that news about the good news about paradise, followed by uh, warning about hell. So that the person should not only use his egoistic side and ignore his spiritual side, or other way around. Now we have to keep the balance. Quran keeps it. That is called in the Quran mukabele. How do you say? That is a kind of, not a kind of, it is one element in rhetoric. Mukabele, rhetoric, yeah. How can I translate this? To keep the balance, to keep the balance. The scholars study this. Here, aggressive side of human beings are under attack now. Warning, warning. Now, we have to look for the mukabil, Encountering part. Yes, yes. I think encountering may be the good word. So the scholar says, where is the encountering part? In the Quran. And not everywhere. No, in the uh, same mukabele. Yeah, mukabele. Yeah.
Is that like a challenging or
Uh, no, not challenging. No, 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 no.
okay?
Encountering means
Encountering.
now, for example, uh, if you give heavy on one side of education, it means warning people, warning students. For example, a teacher. Now, it's a good example. Teacher comes to the student, says, "No, if you do this, I will punish you this way. If you do that, punishment, 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 and goes." It is not human. It is not the Quran. The rhetorical quality of the Quran requires that if you give a warning, one, two, three verses, and balancing side. Who said balancing here? I think somebody wrote balancing. Uh, Mizan and mukabele, mizan. The balancing. And the scholars ask the question. Now, the Quran it keeps the balance. Where is the balancing verse in these circumstances? There must be a balancing verse there. And when you read the Quran, you will see it. When you read the Quran, you will see it. So, for example, I remember the first, the Quran, for example, if you look at the uh, Baqarah, beginning of Baqarah, that's easy here. Now, read the description of the hypocrites. Can you, is it practical to do that, Asa? Can you bring up the verses, Baqarah 17?
Verse which one?
17, 1 7.
17. This one.
Yeah. Now, what does it say? Read the Kafkas, for example.
So
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
they are like one who lights a fire, and when it shines around him, God takes away their light and leaves them in darkness, where they are unable to see.
Now, this is verse 17, right? We are not going to go all of them. This description of the hypocrites goes on until the verse 20. How many verses now? One, two, three, four verses, right? Now, come 21. 21, right? Read it.
People worship your Lord, who created you and those before you, that you may become mindful of God.
Now, look at it here. The description of hypocrisy finished, now calls whole human being to worship God, to worship their Lord, right? That is the middle passage. Now, come to verse 25. All the middle passage explains why you should worship God. Come to verse 25. Read it.
Give good news to the believers who do virtuous deeds. They will have heavenly gardens with flowing rivers. Every time they are provided fruit from it, they will say, this is similar to what we were provided before. It appears to them that they are given the same thing. There they will have pure spouses, and there they will be forever.
What do you understand from this three block of teaching, the sequence of it?
So the hypocrites, and then addressing
Horrible.
every, right? And now give good news to the believers particularly.
Now, this, uh, now, in the middle, now, the first description of hypocrites, how horrible situation they are living there in their spiritual life, right?
So that's like
And then
my,
calling, excuse me?
yeah, that's like my arrogant side also, right? That,
Yeah. So, come, O people, worship your Lord. Ya eyyuhen nas ubudu rabbekum. Your Lord. And calling them to come to the middle side. And then 25 says, give good news to those people who believe. You see, balance is kept. As Suhail said, mizan and mukabele. Do you understand? Quran
right, yeah.
uses this balance everywhere. Everywhere. Suddenly Quran says, worship God, do pray, worship God, do pray, and be nice to people, etc., etc. And then comes there, suddenly changes the subject, says, when your father dies, you will get this amount of inheritance. What is the relationship? You are now concentrating on the belief side of it, theoretical side of it. How about practical side? Don't forget, practically also you have to follow Sharia. Keeps the balance. Because make religion only a spiritual experience, not physical practice. No, it needs together. Because I have to have theory, but at the same time, I have to experience the practice. That is how human being is. So perfectly adjusted everything. You cannot believe it. But we have to know the full picture of the Quran. Careful balance, yeah. As though the same was one. Yes, it is one. One aim. Perfection of human being. In every circumstance. We have to, when we narrate the ayat from the Quran, verses from the Quran, we have to keep the balance, as the Quran itself keeps the balance. Is it clear, Muawiyah, now? People's mistakes are people's mistakes. But Quran is, you cannot have any discordance in the Quran, unbalanced. No. Be careful, everywhere is there. And the scholars challenge about it. They say, this verse is here emphasizing all this. Where is the balancing verse? They say, it was in the beginning. No, after that it will come. Or these verses are keeping the balance. This is a scholarly studies, the serious subject of the Quran. Quran studies.
MashaAllah, this is a very good understanding. I
Oh,
love the,
amazing, amazing, unbelievable. You can only say miraculous. That's it. 23 years, we should never forget. 23 years, completely different circumstances, completely contradictory circumstances, and without editing, the whole book becomes perfectly balanced. Unbelievable. Impossible. But never ever forget, Quran had never been edited. And abrogation is the most disgusting claim about the Quran. I never agreed that. And serious people don't accept it. Only these, people who are bloodthirsty, complex, full of complex Muslims, they spoil the balance of the Quran. Weak characters take the only spiritual advices. No, bloodthirsty characters or inferiority, the complex who are the people are suffering from inferiority complexes. They take the severe side of the Quran, represent the Quran as if it is not appropriate to human nature. We have to keep the balance, inshallah. You understand what I mean?
Inshallah, even in our presentation or when we speak to people, yeah, we have to keep the balance in that
Yeah,
sense.
but we shouldn't really they call it Californian Sufis, and we cannot be like ISIS people. Understand?
Inshallah, yes.
Inshallah. So Quran is not like this. People may spoil the balance. Quran is not. It keeps its balance and consistency.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that example of section Baqarah. Yeah, makes sense. Or how to see the balance in the verses as well.
Everywhere, everywhere.
So every verse is comes with balance, and I have to see it basically, right?
Yeah. I mean, everywhere. Even the relationship between the sections of the Quran.
All right. Any other comment or question by anyone? All right. I'll continue thus. While these are all causes of confusion, so all these different, the items that we studied so far, the 6 items, on how each classes are addressed as if they're one class, the message being universal, the verses of the Quran being universal, the Quran as a whole coming to answer the questions. So these are all causes of confusion. They have been employed in the Quran's miraculous manner of exposition, in its fluency and proportionateness. For sure, everyone whose heart is without disease, whose mind is sound, whose conscience is not sick, whose taste is unimpaired, sees in the Quran's manner of exposition a beautiful smoothness of style, a graceful harmony, a pleasing proportionateness, a unique eloquence. All the clear-sighted see that the Quran possesses an eye that sees the whole universe, together with its outer and inner aspects, clearly before it as though it was a page. The whole universe as if it though it was a page. That it turns the page as it wishes, and tells the page's meaning as it wishes. Several volumes would be necessary if we were to explain the meaning of this first beam together with examples. So sufficing with the explanations and proofs of this fact in my Arabic treatises and in Isharat al-Ijaz and in the 25 words up here, I have only pointed out here these features of the Quran in it as a whole. So this final paragraph is like a example of like a book, each page that gets turned according to the owner of the universe as it wishes, each page's meaning. So that's how the Quran flows. So these are important, interesting points here. The manner of exposition, the way it speaks, right? So if somebody's not biased with a clear heart and mind, they can see how this exposition, the points that we've discussed so far in the balagha and how it addresses the balance that it has, how pleasing and unique eloquence is the Quran. So any final thoughts on this final paragraph? All right. I think we are at time, so we can stop here on this first beam and continue with the second beam next time, inshallah. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bihurmati Surat al-Fatiha. Thank you, everyone.